Hello again, nerds! All of you beautiful nerds out there, welcome to Generally Nerdy. This is your Week in Nerddom Video Games Edition. And on this week's video games video, that's kind of redundant, isn't it? This week's video games episode, maybe? We are talking Kingdom Hearts 3, finally. We're talking Soul Calibur 6, and Destiny 2 news. So there's a lot more to it than that, but we gotta hit that intro sequence real quick.
Quiet on the set, rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander of War, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
The big one that we're talking about this week, I'm just gonna come right out the gate with it, is Kingdom Hearts 3. There has been a leak from Ubisoft, and I don't know exactly. I was trying to figure out how it got leaked, or like, because the person who leaked it was talking about being able to download files. I don't know where the files came from, and now they can't download the files anymore, but they can still see the files, and it was just this weird, so I don't understand exactly what it is. I will definitely leave a link in the description to where I got this information, so you guys can see all of it, because we're not going to touch on everything. It's just really interesting. So, giant leak, it's mostly like texture files and the folders that they got the information from. It seems like it's going to be soon, because we have a leak, we have information to have leaked. So it's been what, like 10 years almost since the second Kingdom Hearts, and I just, there's so much going on with Disney right now. There's so many options that they can put into this game. It looks like we're getting some Frozen stuff. We're gonna get Toy Story stuff, definitely. All kinds of big stuff. I just really wanted to mention this leak because it's really cool, really early in the development kind of stuff. So again, link in the description so that you can see all of the different projections and all of the different speculation about what is going to be in Kingdom Hearts, because none of it is 100%. It's a leak. I believe the dude was on Reddit. So take with it with a grain of salt. But we got a Mortal Kombat leaked before Mortal Kombat X came out that turned out to be really close to accurate. And then we got an Injustice 2 leak that turned out to be really, really accurate. So this isn't the same leaker. I can't say for certain that how much of it is true, because again, it's super early in development. But check it out. Moving on. We got Soul Calibur 6 gameplay footage this week. It's focusing primarily on Sophia. I can never say her name out loud, but you know who I'm talking about, and I'll try and put a picture somewhere. New gameplay. It was from one of the developers himself was talking through the video, kind of walking you through the new gameplay features. And the biggest thing that he talked about was the reversal edge. It's a new reversal system in the game that is going to apparently revolutionize fighting games. I'm over exaggerating, but it's going to add some depth to the play, definitely. And Soul Calibur is not one that's really shallow when it comes to that depth. So it'll be really, really awesome to see this especially once it hits the competitive circuit, what people do with it. Speaking of competitive circuit, I need to make a correction for last week. I didn't see any Injustice stuff when I was doing the research for last week's video when it came to NEC, the Northeastern Championship. I just watched the top 8, well, kinda sorta watched the top 8 and they did it. They did an Injustice tournament, so I'm eating my words. Eating crow, I think, is the way you say that. And like Samij and Sonic Fox and Forever King and all the regular characters were there. Sonic Fox's new main is apparently Hellboy, which was wicked to watch him fight Forever King, because Forever King put him out of the last tournament that they were in together, the E-League tournament. So he destroyed Forever King with Hellboy this time, and it was insane. So yeah, definitely gotta go back on my words. Anyway, Soul Calibur 6 coming out in 2018. Watch the NEC top 8 because it's pretty intense. We are moving along to Destiny 2. So, we have a thing in modern video games. It's become quite an issue. These loot crates, as they are referred to. They're called something else in Destiny 2. And I didn't write down the specific word because it's all loot crates. Even in Injustice, it's freaking loot crates. They all take slightly different forms, but it's all the same thing. It's kind of sort of pay to win. In Injustice and in Destiny, it's not exactly pay to win. It's just pay to get the cool stuff. Which, in Injustice, affects gameplay, minorly, but still affects gameplay. In Destiny, it's all cosmetic, but, I mean, if you're a completionist, it would seem their current release, their current special event, the holiday event, you would not be able to get all of the crates without paying for some of them. Just the amount of time that the event is happening versus the amount of time that it would take to unlock all of that stuff, it doesn't compute. It does not add up. So fans are crazy up in arms about this. And the reason I'm bringing this up again, because we've already talked about it before, but the reason I'm bringing it up again is because I've had kind of a revelation since the last time we talked about it. And it's not directly related to what's going on right now with Destiny or necessarily with Injustice, but kind of with Battlefront. Because that's what started this whole hubbub. So I'm not gonna say I agree with the way EA did this, because the option to pay is exactly what the issue is. Now, years ago, there was a Star Wars MMORPG. I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it was the Star Wars MMORPG on PC. And when it first launched, it took a lot of work to get your character to become a Jedi. Like, so much work that in the entire game, so everyone across the world who played it, there were literally a handful of actual Jedi players. That, I feel like, is the way things like that should go. So in the case of Battlefront, to unlock these epic characters like Luke and Vader and so on and so forth, it should be difficult. It should take you forever, because then you've achieved something. Back when, before current gen systems, back when we were playing Nintendo, Super Nintendo, a game's difficulty was a badge of honor. If you made it to the end of, if you made it past the freaking speed cart stage of Battletoads, let alone the end of the game, then you were the cock of the walk. You were amazing. You were a god amongst gamers. Now it's a matter of time before you can get to the end of a game. So I feel like, I mean, and this is an old argument. People have been making this argument since after the Super Nintendo, since the Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 era. Just the level of difficulty has changed so drastically. I feel like if EA had not had that option to buy these crates, if you just had to grind for 50 hours to unlock one crate, that would be good game development. Mortal Kombat X, you could buy easy fatalities. You could pay to unlock the entire crypt. And that's ridiculous, because that adds to the difficulty, which then adds to the bragging rights, which then adds to the sense of accomplishment. Why I just it's the bottom line. So this is the part we're talking about on your video games episode this week. Is this, aside from the pay to play, the pay to win stuff, is this a way for video game companies to increase difficulty? Is it necessary for them to do this? Because you can play through Fallout 4 if you just do the story mode. You can play through Fallout 4, one of the biggest games on the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 life cycle, in just a few hours. You can walk through that in about 10 hours. Whereas if you do all of the extra stuff and you're a completionist and you unlock all the things and you go to the entire map, that's going to take you days. And then that's not even talking about the system where you're building your settlements. So is this the new difficulty? Is grinding for hours to unlock a character because you can play through the story mode regardless, but you gotta play for 50 hours to get Luke, or you gotta play for 60 hours to unlock Vader? Is this the new standard of difficulty? And should, the other half of this, should developers just take out the pay-to-win stuff entirely and keep this difficulty level as high as it is? Because that was the thing with the Star Wars MMORPG, is after so long, there were, like I said, there was a very small handful of people that made it to Jedi. And then people started complaining to the developers. It's not fair. I don't want to be a Jedi. That guy got to be a Jedi. I should be a Jedi. But you didn't earn it. So what the developer did was they caved. And they let anyone become a Jedi easily. And then the game, and now nobody's playing it, right? They no longer develop for this game. They're still playing World of Warcraft because there's achievements, there's accomplishment. You do things in that game. Becoming a Jedi is the thing that you want to do in a Star Wars game. And if it takes you 10 minutes to become a Jedi, then you don't want to play that Star Wars game. Anyway, I'm going to leave that one off to you guys. Next on video games, we're talking about Twitch. Now, I don't watch Twitch. I watch all my videos on YouTube. So I'm not super familiar with the platform. I think I may have watched like one of the Mortal Kombat combat casts back when MKX was coming out on Twitch, but nothing that's extensive by any means. But it would seem they're moving into regular programming. They're starting a reality TV show. It's a game show more than anything, and it's there. If you've become a partner, again, I'm not familiar with the way Twitch works, but if you are a streamer that is to the partner level, but you're not making money enough to live on, you're not making a proper income, you're just supplementing your income, as it were, through Twitch, then you're eligible to be a contestant on this game show. Where you effectively, if you win, you make $5,000 a month for a year. I don't know if there's a specific game that you have to play or exactly how it's going to play out, but I think that's an interesting sign of the times that reality programming has made its way onto our streaming stuff. So very interesting. We'll keep tabs on it. I don't know if I'm going to end up watching the show, but once I learn what the format's going to be and all that, maybe I will watch the show and we'll talk about that. Let me know though if you're excited about this, if you're a Twitch streamer and this is definitely something you're going to try and become a part of. Let's talk about that in the comments section. What is the last bit? This is the last bit, and it is Ubisoft. We talked about Ubisoft a minute ago for Kingdom Hearts. Actually, I'm really dumb. Ubisoft is not Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is Square Enix. Ubisoft is something else entirely. But they are starting a new thing. They're calling it La Forge. Yeah, they're calling it La Forge. It's a new research wing in their primary headquarters where they're going to be developing artificial intelligence. That's not really news, necessarily. The way they're doing it is unique, though, in that, as it stands now, game developers who have any sort of who develop artificial intelligence and have this artificial intelligence keep their artificial intelligence algorithms to themselves because proprietary, you know, it's trade secrets. These are the things that you make your bread and butter on. You don't want to give that to your competitor. Or necessarily anybody else, because this is your thing that you developed and it's your product to sell, right? Ubisoft is taking it in a different direction, kind of, and what they're doing is when they so they did the Watch Dogs game, right, which effectively recreates San Francisco. It's a smaller version of San Francisco, but it's still pretty freaking large in terms of video game size. And they created an artificial intelligence for all of the NPCs in that game, all of the non-player characters in that game. There is an intelligence behind them. There's an algorithm that tells them what they're doing and where they're going and blah, blah, blah. Part of that is when they're driving vehicles. So it's a computer-driven vehicle, effectively. And they had to create the intelligence so that it would drive on roads and obey the laws inside the game. And that could help vehicle manufacturers who are trying to develop self-driving vehicles, right? Because it's effectively the same thing. So this La Forge studio is going to be that bridge between video game AI and real-world AI. And if they can keep interest in the development, then they're going that potentially this could be the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? Like, that's really, really interesting. That gets us closer to when we talk about AI and droids and things in movies, and how where is the line drawn between artificial and actual intelligence. That's going to create that sci-fi element is going to become a reality, and that kind of boggles the mind a little bit. And yeah, what do you guys think is going to come out of that, aside from, you know, the obvious driving vehicles, self-driving vehicles? What else could we see that could benefit the real world, and then vice versa? What do we have in the real world that is quasi artificial intelligence that could then create a better gaming experience? I want to hear from you guys about that. That is the last bit for video games this week. Thank you very much. I don't know if I said it in the beginning of this video, but it is Christmas, the week of Christmas. So if you are so inclined, then have a merry one, or I hope you had a merry one anyway. This video games this week is a bigger one than usual, and I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. Thank you very much. Remember, the website is generallynerdy.net, and you can find all the links to social media up there. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of the places. If you want to help support me and so that I can continue making these videos and we can continue having these conversations, then hit up the Patreon, patreon.com/generallynerdy. You can get on board for just $1 a month, and it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but $1 really does help. So yeah, check out the Patreon, check out the website. If you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, I ain't mad at you. Let me know you didn't like this video. Leave me a comment down below. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we talked about in the video today. And thank you for watching. But don't go anywhere. I gotta remind you that always remember, if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.